As you may know, the Pope died a few days ago, and today it's actually his funeral. So I thought a good way to honor him was to spend the whole day today trying his favorite foods. Not many people know that Pope Francis actually studied food chemistry before becoming a pope, so he had a deep understanding of food, and I like to think he would be happy about this video idea. What many people, including me, admired about him was his modesty, and that reflected on his diet as well. His daily meals often consisted in simple dishes, and also due to health considerations, he had a lot of dietary restrictions. So on a daily basis, he wouldn't have the most interesting meals, but like all of us, he had his comfort foods. And most of these are from Argentina, his home country. In fact, Pope Francis was the first non-European pope in 1200 years and the very first from the Americas. To be honest, all I know about Argentinian cuisine I learned in the past couple of days to prepare for this video. So I'm very excited to try these dishes and see what they taste like. And without further ado, let's begin this video, and I hope you enjoy. So according to the internet, the Pope prepared for breakfast freshly squeezed orange juice and membrillo, which is this. I bought this from Amazon. That's the only place I could find it. It's basically jelly from Queens, and apparently it's really popular in Argentina. The way I read online that is traditional to have this is on toast with cream cheese. Here we have our breakfast. Let's try it, shall we? Oh, I also have a little bit of the membrillo on its own so that I could see what it tastes like on its own. So let's try this first. Tastes like pear. Let's try the traditional way. So much better this way. I can see why this is a thing. It's delicious. Breakfast gets a 10 out of 10. We're starting off really good. Also, while I was doing research for this video, I found out that the Vatican has their own farm and they make everything from scratch. Olive oil, they have cows, so they make their own cheese products, milk, and then they have chickens that are fed leftover sacramental bread, which is like the bread that you get when you do the communion. So they produce very holy eggs. They grow their own produce, their own vegetables and fresh fruit, so everything's seasonal. And every morning they prepare a basket with the freshest produce they collected, cheese, everything they produce basically, and deliver it to where the Pope lives so that he can have the freshest diet every day, which I didn't know that. That's really cool. Next we have lunch. The recipe I'm making for lunch is actually Italian because Pope Francis had Italian parents, so he also really loved Italian cuisine as well. And this recipe originates from the region of Piedmont in northern Italy. It's called bagna cauda. I had to buy this little oven thingy for 40 euros to make this recipe because this is the way to do it. This recipe requires a lot of garlic. After peeling and cutting each clove in half, I removed the sprout inside, which is supposed to enhance flavor and make it more digestible. It's been a few days since I filmed this video and my hands still smell like garlic. I then moved to the salted anchovies, which I had to rinse and remove the spine. The recipe I was following said to soak the anchovies in red wine for a while and then pot them dry. It smells divine. That's all I can say. Our bagna cauda is ready, and I have to say this dish looks really gorgeous. The way it works is that the candle keeps the sauce warm. You have to take a vegetable, dip it in the sauce, and that's it. I tried every single vegetable, but my favorite one was I don't know how you say this in English, but in Italian it's topinambur. I tried it today for the first time. My mom's like, you can just eat it raw, and it's the best thing ever. It tastes like an apple. Do you hear that crunch? Also, I don't know if you're supposed to just eat this with your hands, but that's how I'm doing it. One vegetable I'm not excited to try with is the celery. I hate raw celery, but let's try it. Yeah, no. So my final rating for this one is an 8 out of 10 because it's a bit too oily, but otherwise it's delicious and I'll definitely make this again in the winter. And this dish is meant to be shared with great company, so of course I knew exactly who to call.
Veramente molto buona, non senti neanche l'aglio. Io avevo l'impressione che si doveva tanto di aglio, invece no. Buonissimo, buona, 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 buona. È bella di piemontesi,
Thanks to this video, I learned that if you combine milk with a lot of sugar and put it to cook for several hours at low heat, the result will be the most amazing thing my mouth has ever had the chance to taste. Dulce de leche, an Argentinian classic and another one of Pope Francis' favorites. So my milk and sugar mixture is going to take about 1 to 2 hours to churn into dulce de leche. So I thought in the meantime we try mate, which was the Pope's drink of choice, and he's been seen drinking this on several occasions. And mate is an Argentinian caffeinated tea that apparently it's really popular there. I had to buy the specific cup and straw for it because there's a whole procedure to prepare it. So hopefully it turns out okay. I watched a few tutorials yesterday. If you're Argentinian and I'm doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments. I don't know what I'm doing. So according to the tutorial I watched, I had to fill up the cup about 2/3 and then shake it at a 45-degree angle so that all the yerba would move to one side. And I was struggling a lot with this step because my yerba wouldn't stay in one place. Added the water on the other side, inserted my straw, and added more water. Time of truth. I don't like it. It's bitter. I think I did something wrong. I'm gonna try again with just warm water, not boiling water, because I think my water was too hot. Trying it this way left a horrible taste in my mouth, but my suspicion was right. My water was way too hot, and when I used warm water, it tasted much better, but I'm still gonna give it a 5 out of 10 just because it's too much work to make something that tastes just like green tea, which is much easier to make. But if I'm missing something, please let me know. I'm open to suggestions. It tastes like green tea now. But for some reason, the straw is letting in all the dust. After that, I added vanilla and baking soda to my dulce de leche, which by then was moved to the outdoor grill to cook, since it was rush hour and they needed a stove inside. Then I moved on to preparing the cookie dough that I will pair with the dulce de leche to make the Pope's favorite cookies, which, spoiler alert, are now my favorite too. I then separated 2 egg yolks, which I'll need to add to the batter that's mixing with the sugar in the stand mixer. But no matter how busy my mom is, she'll always find time to help me out with my projects because it genuinely makes her happy. I mean, look at that smile. The last step was adding the flour mixture that I prepared earlier into the mixer, and we finally have our cookie dough, which needs to be refrigerated for a few hours before you can make cookies with it. By then, our dulce de leche was finally ready and I was so proud of it. Look how beautiful. We strained it and let it cool for a bit before we tried it. By the time I looked at the clock, it was already 11 p.m., so I only had time to make one last recipe, which was actually meant to be today's midday snack, but oh well, I guess the cookies and the dinner I had planned out will have to wait until tomorrow. I'm making chipas, a Paraguayan cheese bread made with cassava flour. Back when Pope Francis worked in a lab, he had a lot of Paraguayan co-workers, and that's how he discovered chipas, and he completely fell in love with them. There's even a video of him calling chipas a bad habit. After preparing the dough, my mom shaped it into little balls. I added a little bit more cheese on top and popped them in the oven. This ended up being dinner for my mom and me, and I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10. They were warm, soft, cheesy, and totally hit the spot. And with that, we were done with the cooking until tomorrow. The next day, we jumped straight into making these Argentinian cookies called alfajores, or at least I hope that's how you say it. The Pope's favorite dessert from his childhood, according to the internet. Once they were baked, it was time to assemble. I spread some dulce de leche on one cookie, placed another on top, and then rolled the edges in coconut flakes.
Stop.
11 out of 10. 12 even. I couldn't get enough of these cookies, so I made a few more for myself and then moved on to our final dish of the day, pizza. In fact, the Pope once said, quote unquote, "If I had only one wish, what would it be? The only thing I would like is to go out one day without being recognized and go to a pizzeria for a pizza." But this is not your regular pizza. It's called pizza caballo, or pizza on horseback in English, a unique kind of Argentinian pizza. We start by preparing a classic pizza dough which needs a few hours to rise. And here's how it turned out. Next, I moved on to making faina, a chickpea flatbread that's meant to sit on top of the pizza. Once the faina was ready, it was time to dress the pizza and pop it in the oven. When it came out golden, we sliced the faina and placed it right on top. And just like that, it was ready to enjoy. It's not bad, but it's a lot of bread and like dough. It's a lot chewy. I was expecting the faina to add a unique flavor to the pizza, but as an Italian person, it just felt unnecessary, so I'm sorry, but I don't know, I think a 5.